so much for staying with us on Tea or Coffee. Have you followed us yet? You can follow us at High Impact TV and at High Impact TV UK on all our social media platforms. As well, you can follow Tea or Coffee on Instagram at Watch Tea or Coffee. So our conversation all morning has been about ads and the creative side of, telling the story of your business, the art of storytelling in business particularly. And we have a guest in the studio this morning. We're going to have this conversation together. Now, the name of my guest is Israel Obatunde, and is a creative strategist. A little look at what Israel has done for a while. Ooh, I lost that document. Okay, so Israel Obatunde is, what's going on? Okay, I have Israel in the studio. I can't seem to find his bio. I don't know what happened. It just keeps fluctuating. Hi, thank you for joining me on the show this morning.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you on the show. So tell me, what is it like being a creative strategist?
It's very interesting. It has its own challenges, but the good thing about it is you get to have a bit of knowledge in almost everything, and it gives you the edge in knowing to approach things strategically. So if you're just a copywriter, you're an art director, you just get to do creative stuff. But as a creative strategist, you have a strategy behind everything you are doing, and that's what makes you unique as a person.
And in case you don't know, Israel Oluyomi Obatunde is a creative strategist whose core expertise is art direction, but he also enjoys writing copy and developing strategy. He has a unique ability to interpret clients' thoughts in ways that produce outstanding communication results. Having set out to study psychology at university, his passion for creativity quickly redirected him to the world of advertising, where he has been finding fulfillment. It's so nice to have you on Tea or Coffee today.
Thank you, Richard.
All right, let's delve into this conversation, the art of storytelling in business. What is storytelling? Let's start from there.
I'm not going to bore you with big grammars, as we do in our industry, because storytelling is really broad.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make it simple enough so that everybody can understand. So storytelling is the art of giving out a communication or giving some thought out from the message owner, which is your brand, to the consumers or your target audience in the most relatable way. And I can say especially in a culturally relevant way. So if I'm telling a story to you now, if I'm not telling it as beautiful as you are, I've not been able to have some insight about what you love, about what you like, I'm just going to be speaking over your head. So, and that's what makes a difference between good communication and bad communication. So coming from the aspect of knowing and finding the right insight to approach you to talk with, you are there, can fair, the kind of man you like, maybe he's tall, maybe he's like, those insights gives me the best ways to tell stories to you, and that's what makes it different.
But who says I have to tell a story? Can't I just sell my goods? I mean, my product is working, it's functional, you can't do without my product, so can't I just put it in your hands and tell you to go? Must I tell a story? Okay,
so we have brands that have been able to spoof, luckily, for a couple of 1-2 years, and you hear eventually that they die. It is because storytelling helps you to have continuity. It goes beyond the brand. If you are a brand and you are still connecting to people on the functional level, there's a time bound to what you are doing. If you've not been able to connect to them emotionally beyond the fact that when, just take a, I don't know if I can mention a Rolex, for example. People that buy it is not because it's affordable. It's because of loyalty. It's because they've been able to believe in the brand beyond the brand itself. A lot of us, especially in Nigeria, we spend a lot of money on some things we don't need. Not because we can't do without it, but because there's a form of attachment we have to it. I mean, just look at myself as a dread guy now. It's not because I can't cut it, but because I love it. If you touch my dreads, I might fight you. You understand? So, I mean, we've been able. It's just building relevance beyond people giving money to you as a brand. Yeah, that's why it's very important.
Okay, so it's not about I want to collect your money, give me your money, and buy.
Yeah, people will get tired. Competition will come and give them better. But like if you're selling for 10 naira and the consumer, another competition comes and is able to do that stuff for 5 naira, you can as well sell it for 7 naira. So by that time, people will leave you because you don't have anything to offer. So you don't sell just because people can buy it. I don't want to mention some brands. There are some brands that, especially the telcos, we have some of the telcos do fantastic stuff in this part of the world, creating relevant stories.
Yes.
That people, if you ask them in terms of experience, will say, come on, I don't like the app. They just deducted on my money. They just,
yeah.
but they still love them.
Yeah.
They still keep the same. They still, I mean, we talk about who is connecting to them. Oh, I remember that heart. It's very relatable to me. I love it. That is what people want, especially in a time that everybody is kind of, I mean, COVID has really hit us very hard, and globally, everybody was forced to go back to the emotional angle of ourselves. We were remembered. We were reminded that we are still human beings. So as a brand, if you are not ready to connect to people beyond the fact that you are selling to them, to let them understand that we know what you are going through. I mean, this December, some people don't even have what to eat. I mean, as a brand, if you cannot connect emotionally to them, you know, the year has been very tough. The year has been very, very down for most people, but we are here. A lot of people have died. A lot of people have lost their jobs, and you want to go and sell to them. They will ask you, did you even know if I've eaten this morning? So that is why it's very important for brands to go beyond, come and buy me, to I love you. Let's do this together.
All right, let's look at the connections, okay? So we've mentioned what storytelling is. We've mentioned why it's important to tell stories. Now, is there a way storytelling is connected to the product in such a way that you can say, oh, because the story is bad, then the product is bad?
So that's why you need all around. Okay, let me start by saying storytelling itself has to tick certain boxes. I will use the 4 Ps used by Mike. I mean, the people, the plot, the purpose, and the place. The people, in the sense that you have to get to understand, is 2 ways. Get it to understand who you are talking to, and the people you want to use to talk to them, right? The place. If you create an ad for Lagos State, don't expect that somebody in Ibadan might just automatically connect to it. Somebody in Kaduna, because we all have our different belief systems, right? The kind of plot, in the sense that what you want to tell them, somebody in Kano can just quickly see it and say, oh, I'm fine. I mean, and go along. But in Lagos, you have to tell me a story, because our mindsets are different, right? And also, you have to be able to, there's a campaign that happened 2 weeks ago with a popular celebrity that everybody is feeling like banking with a particular bank, right? I can tell you for free that it went viral online because it's a community online. It's applied to a community online. Now, if you go offline or if you go outside Lagos, you know, we Lagosians consume a lot of information online. If you go to the rural areas, is that thing connecting to them? So at that point, they have to look for a way to transform that success online to the traditional. So you have to be able to tick all the boxes. Otherwise, it's a very hard work to do, but it's possible when you have a good story to tell as a brand. So if you have a good story and you also don't go back to sell the best of product, then there might be a problem.
So your story and your product have to connect.
Exactly.
They have to be aligned.
On point.
So we've talked about the plot, the people, the place,
places, and the purpose.
The purpose of the story. Yeah. All right, so, okay, when you talk about purpose, is that where call to action comes in, when you convert your story to a copy? Okay,
so there's purpose is big. Now, call to action is just a part of purpose.
Okay.
Purpose is, okay, I have a brand, I want to serve just the teenagers and remind them that they are the best in the world by dressing nice. That's your Nike.
Okay.
So the purpose is they want everybody to feel nice, feel good, and believe in themselves. And that's where you hear their words say, just do it. You get. So just do it on the hard is, you can call it your call to action. But It's just one part. The main call to action is go and buy the dress. Is what $100, right? But the purpose is I want to transform the life of every youth. I want to, if you, I don't know if you can, if you read the story of some of these shoemakers.
Yeah.
I mean, it started from the fact that there were a lot of, even when they want to go and watch football matches in those days, they go in suits. I mean, so horrible. Like, you want to go and watch football matches, you go in your jacket. You want to, everything is jacket. And someone just talked about it. And someone just talked about it that, come on, we need to look lighter when we are going to a lighter place. So the purpose was there that I want people to be free and have fun. That's a bigger purpose. So the purpose then leads you to say, I'm creating a brand that is going to do that. Then call to action now comes to is 15 naira. Come buy it.
Right. Okay. All right. Let's look at other proponents of storytelling. What are the things, you know, it's one thing to tell a story and just say, oh, this brand was created because we realized that children are always going hungry in December, and for that reason we decided to create a product that will serve that purpose, that would solve that problem, rather. Now, it's one thing to tell that story, but how do we translate that big brand story into something, into bite-sized pieces that makes it easy for people to consume it, react to it, attend to it, and then buy, which is actually the
main thing, because money is very important. No brand without money. So, I mean, it's like I earlier said, there's a lot into it. There's the marketing aspect of it. Okay. And that's why a brand will have the marketing team and also have the sales team, also have the other teams. So it's the job of certain people in the marketing team to hit on, we have a purpose, we have a brand. How do we present it to them and they will buy it? So that comes to research. So if I want to start a brand, I have to do the research. Who and who needs it? How do they need it? Some years back, we used to have all our milk, the dairy product, in tin. All of them, tin. And some dude came and said, we want sachet, right? There was an insight into it. The insight is, okay, yeah, everybody's producing it. The big purpose is we want people to drink nutritious milk. That's a big purpose. Of course, the dairy as an industry also is supporting that. But taking it down to make it available and purchasable is to say, okay, everybody is selling in tin. There are some people that cannot afford it. There are some people that can, but they just want to be able to go around, because if that thing drops, it will make a lot of noise. Yes. But this one, I can put it in my pocket. So research goes into it. You do your research, you get your insight, you get things you can work with, and they produce the sachet. Now, it changed the game. Before you know it, the whole audience shifted to that, and the high shoulders of the team makers go down. So, I mean, a lot, what I just mentioned now, what I just described in like a few minutes, a lot of work went into it in research. Research is very important. I mean, we still have brands in this part of the world that don't believe in research, and I mean, you can't do that outside this country. You can't. Research is key. Research is like your compass to know what to do part-time, to know who to talk to part-time. You don't have, that gives you the right information about your demography and the likes. So when you have your research done properly, give it to the right team to work with, you give them a product that is very nice. And that is what helps most of the brands to be very, very spontaneous and innovative. So it's a different thing to have something to tell. It's another thing to be innovative with it. Innovation is key in brand development, right? If you look at what happened in the beginning of COVID, right? Some brands, I mean, most of us don't believe we should be having virtual meetings. Yes. Why would you be having virtual meetings?
Well, you can come physically.
Here, 8 o'clock, and you leave 5 p.m. But COVID came, right? An innovation. And,
yeah. COVID questioned our belief
system. It questioned our mindset. It questions everything we are doing, right? And that is why if you want to be a great brand, you have to be flexible enough to accommodate innovation. You can't do without it. And the earlier, the better. There are some signs that are already in the air right now for most brands that the fear of the unknown is not allowing them to do it. And in the next few years, I mean, you'll be shocked.
And what's that? Share this insight. Share this insight.
I mean, you'll be shocked that most of the things we really hold on to, especially in this part of the world, as belief system, as how to run our brands, is going to vanish in a couple of years. In terms of interaction, in terms of metaverse is here. Metaverse that's
the totally big conversation.
Everybody is trying to. I can't say everybody understands metaverse, right? Even the likes of the Facebook are still doing research in it. So everybody is trying to see how to make it work. But it's the bigger social media. It's the next big thing. And it's going to come. It's going to happen. it's non-questionable. And that is going to test our bandwidth in terms of internet facility, in terms of commitment to working remotely. If I don't have to go anywhere, I just go into my metaverse and I'm talking to like 50, 100,000 people. So why do I need some form of physical meeting?
All right. Let's move back to storytelling the art of storytelling for businesses. Where does copywriting come into this equation?
Yeah. So copywriting is a bit, but it flows through in most of the things you do, because when you want to create your ads, you do your copywriting. When you want to write your script, you do your copywriting. So copywriting in its own sense is the part where you tell your stories by putting it out in words. So like you have stuff you are working with, somebody wrote it. So in the layman's word, it's called text, it's called article. But in advertising, in communication, it's copywriting. So that is when you tell your story. Like we have the story in our head, we have the plot, we have the purpose and everything. So let's put it down in scripts, in form of your TV commercials. So all those TV commercials we see around there, somebody wrote the scripts, or 2 or 3 or 5 people wrote the scripts. True. To tell the stories. The creatives you are seeing are there, somebody wrote it. Like on the billboard, somebody wrote the line. So that's where the copywriting comes in and play. And copy is very important. Okay. Like we do say, if your visual is not telling the story well, the copy has to tell the story. However, both of them must complement each other.
So what are the elements of a good copy?
It has to be, I mean, relatable. Okay. If it's not relatable, I mean, there's nothing else you want to say. People will just move past it. So it has to be very, very much relatable. It has to convey the message. I can't fully say we are there yet, right, in terms of the output we see around in this part of the world in terms of writing good copy, because most brands just want to sell my product. Just tell the consumer to come and buy it for 15 naira. Anyways, I can't blame them. They are in the market, in the business to make money. But I mean, good copy has to be relatable, simple enough, interesting, has to draw people in. Yeah, I think that's a priority I'll give it to. It has to draw people in. I mean, there was a commercial we had on Third Mainland Bridge some time ago, and they wanted to talk about some of the things the important person in this state has done. And it's a billboard, and we have an article on a billboard. I mean, it was like 5 or 6 to 10 lines. Who is going to wait to read that? And it's far away. So it has to be punchy, straight to it, and draw people in. Yeah. Okay.
So earlier on, we were taking a look at some of the comments that some of our viewers sent in about copywriting and advertising and what to do with it with your business and all of that. And one of the comments read as another advantage would be for you to know how to create content, for you to also know how to follow trends, for you to also know how to write copies that convert. Now let's move from copywriting into content writing. Is there any difference between those two?
Yeah, there is. It's not every copywriter that can be a content writer.
Okay.
So I like the word you use, trendy. We are in the age where you are off trend, you are off market, you are off the mind of people.
Okay.
You have to be able to follow trend strategically. Because it's not, following trend is not, this is happening as a brand, you just jump on it. This is happening, just jump on it. I mean, you'll be confusing everybody. So you have to be able to follow it strategically. And that is when content writing comes in. Content writing is a form of writing, but it requires a skill where you write things that touches immediately, that people just connect to. Because it's just the language. If I will post, let me use this example now. If you will post on LinkedIn,
yes,
and you post on Instagram, you won't use the same style you use on LinkedIn
Sure.
and on Instagram.
Sure.
I can come to my Instagram and say, hey guys, I just type it. I just got back from New York, and you just leave it there. But on LinkedIn, you go there and say, some years ago, I was going through
You
this,
chronicle
and I went to the best university in the world, Harvard University, because the audiences are different. That is it for content writing and copywriting. So you can take your, I mean, just an example, take your content writing as your Instagram. So it's the kind of person that will write for the Gen Zs, you know, the Gen Zs.
That's another one.
The kind of writing you put for Gen Zs to connect to is not what you put for millennials to connect with. So it has to be very, you know, I keep using that word relatable. Relatable has to be, it has to be very relatable.
Okay, so how about, so because we're talking relatability now, but how about a situation whereby you're a good copywriter, and you know how to craft good content, but for some reason it's not just coming, and you need to sell this product? How do you beat that?
Okay, I will put that.
Some people call it writer's block.
Yeah, we all have that block. Everybody does.
Okay.
Every creative does. But we have how we overcome it.
Okay.
Some people listen to music. Some people just take a walk. Some people will travel. Some people will just switch off their phone for like 2-3 hours. So everybody has that block. But I mean, the easiest way to overcome it is understanding who you are. Just like you want the brand to understand their target audience. As a person, you are a brand as well. So for you to function well, you have to understand who you are. I mean, you just like some women during the menstrual period, you know when she's on, don't touch her.
I hate that you use that example.
I'm sorry.
But I'll forgive you.
I'm sorry. But of course, I mean, that does not mean we have, okay, let me use guys.
Okay.
Watching football. When that guy is in front of Manchester United playing, don't move near the remote. And if you want to collect money from him, that's probably the best time you get that money, because all you are saying is, okay, yes, okay, all right, good to go. So, I mean, that is how it is as well. You have to know your wiring. You have to understand how it works for you. So when the block comes in, get to, because creativity is being flexible and being able to adapt. Yeah, so you have to know how to adapt with every of your challenges in a very simple and very, very friendly manner with your wiring.
So just before I let you go, I wanted to find out if you could provide some guidance as to writing great copies, because I believe that a great copy should convert, right? So what's your own key strategy for writing a great copy?
Well, I will start with insight.
Okay.
Yeah, insight has to drive your communication. Yeah, then the use of words. Use of words is very, very important. Like some people, I mean, you craft copies and people just do like, this one is deep.
How deep?
It's key, use of words.
Okay.
Then be very, very friendly with trends.
Okay.
I mean, there's this guy, Church Street. I mean, he uses Bible verses.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, trends. He uses trends to create his Bible verses, and that's so cool. Like some of us have not even read the Bible in like years.
Why is shaking this table?
But when you see Japa, right, and you see somebody relating it to the
scriptures,
I mean, you just feel like, okay, so cool. So that is it. That is it. I mean, follow trends, be versatile,
be insightful.
Know what's up. I mean, be able to know one or two things about everything.
Okay.
You don't need to know it all.
Everything, yeah.
Just one or two things about everything. It's going to help.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on Tea or Coffee this morning.
Thank
you.
Let
me give you a little task.
Oh, my.
So, what would be the copy you would write? If I ask you to write a copy for Tea or Coffee, what would you write?
That's a huge test. Okay. I don't say, do you mind tea or coffee? Either ways, we've got you.
Oh, okay. Would you mind tea or coffee? Either ways, we've got you. And that's it. That's what we're going to use on Tea or Coffee. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
That was a conversation that I just had with Israel Obatunde. He's a creative strategist, and our conversation today has been about the art of storytelling in business.